I can't remember a time without yourself
Lawton
on
Tubes.
social
Well, that's
media.
good. I'm obviously doing my job right.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, welcome to the Pipe Up podcast here at Rothenberger, UK in Kettering. Absolutely delighted to have the copper man himself, Rob from Lawton Tubes.
Hello.
Rob and his team, Shannon and PB Plumber, have been here today. We've had some great fun. Been brilliant. I hope you've enjoyed it too, Rob.
It's been good fun.
Good giggle. So the reason for us doing a podcast, we've had a little go in the past, and we've been talking about it for a long time. We decided we got to start doing it, and obviously when you were coming, we thought you're very popular on the old social media. Great stuff on social media, always fun.
Can you believe it? I've only been doing it, or the company's only been doing it 3 years.
Really?
Yeah, it feels like forever. But
I can't remember a time without yourself on social media.
Well, that's good. I'm obviously doing my job right.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, obviously, installer and things like that. When you're a mainstay of the show, aren't you, as a business?
We do try and have fun.
Yeah.
Lawton Tubes, obviously, is a fourth generation business.
Yeah.
Started in 1918 by my great grandfather called Robert Lawton. Popped along from Birmingham and set up in Coventry, moving from using yellow metals, so brass and copper, but mainly for the car industry. If you go back, obviously I'm not that old, but if you go back far enough, cars used to be made out of copper and brass. These days are not. It tends to be white metals. And then we moved into the 80s, if you like, making tube for the plumbing and heating and air conditioning market was added in by the fourth generation, so myself and my brother and cousin. And I think I've been in the business now 22 years, something like that.
22 years.
Only the last 3 of that 22 years have I been really seriously focused on the marketing side.
Mm-hmm.
So my background isn't construction as such.
No.
I mean, you're a trained professional before you joined Rothenberger. I'm not. But I joined the company in a sales role. Went out there knocking on doors, trying to encourage people to buy our product. It was mainly specified by our competitor, if you like, and we turned that and flipped it and tried to get everybody to talk about the standard. So plumbing tubes made to EN 1057. So that was the main drive, if you like, for us when I certainly joined the business. And then in about 2008, we added on fittings, and these are our latest ones. So that's one of the reasons why we've come down today.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about press. That's our latest product that we recently launched. But so things are going good.
Yeah, fantastic. Brilliant to see. So is that how you started in the trade yourself then, through the family business, but you came later on?
Yeah, so my dad and his 2 brothers, so the third generation, there was 3 of them, 3 brothers, they very much went straight into the business, straight from either the Army or RAF, or as my dad was a chartered accountant, he went straight in from qualifying in Birmingham, where he did his chartered accountancy, straight into the family business. Didn't really know much else other than that, and obviously did a great job there and worked for a number of years. I think it was 40, maybe even 50 years in the business. They were firmly a believer that if people wanted to join, because obviously being a third, you want to leave it the fourth, and we're fourth, and the fifth has just joined. But they wanted to see whether we could just cut mustard elsewhere, and bring in some skill sets into the business. So all 3 of us, my brother, myself and my cousin, all went off in different roads and learnt different skills. So my background is actually third-party logistics. So I work for some quite big companies like Body Shop, Next, Great Mills, Magnet, Kitchens, all under third party. And I spent probably 3 to 4 years working for a company called Stylo Barrett's, which is all about shoes. So I bought quite a portfolio of working in different organisations, some massive, some independents, and I think that's helped me with my skill set today, that I can talk on any level with any sort of person, and I think it's also helped me be very grounded, and I think the business is very grounded, to be honest.
Yeah, I think
we're a very flat managed company.
I think what you've just said there speaks a lot to me. I speak to anybody in the business or anybody in the industry exactly the same way. Yes, you've got to condone yourself certain ways in certain places, but I believe speaking to, I won't say positions because it's unfair, but certain people don't do that, and I can see you do that. You mix with whoever need
Oh
be.
gosh, you'll see me. You'll see me on the Sunday before the opening of something like Installer Show. I'm there on stand. I'm helping build the stand.
Yeah.
Shannon will tell you, but I just get involved, and I think that's a great thing to have. I won't pass the telephone without answering it in the office. I know loads of people say that sort of thing, but we just don't.
No.
We get mucked in. We're a very flat managed business, and it's a family business, so it should come across, and I think it does, how genuine we are about things. So we're genuine about the product. We're very much caring about the environment. We care about our staff. It's a family business and it's family run. So even in the factory, we're into our third, if not fourth generation of people actually working with the family. So it's just one big happy family.
Yeah, and I can honestly say, being in this trade, well, not this trade over 20 years, but 8 years with Rothenberger, and the last few years in particular with Lawton, I've never heard anybody, and I speak to a lot of guys, never ever heard anything bad to say about you, to be fair. So you know what, I thought I might as well mention that. So what we're doing, obviously that was one of the questions, but we're going to do 10 questions, just some answers, just to get to know you a little bit.
Okay, hopefully not too tricky and thought-provoking, are they?
So speaking of kind of what we've just been talking about, so present company accepted with Shannon maybe, but what would your colleagues say about you, your working day to day?
Oh gosh, I think a typical example of, say, like last week, it's not 9 to 5. I think the hours that you put in for the social media. So again, I with Shannon run the social media side of things. So if you go on Instagram or you go to our LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever the channel is, we're the people behind it. So you'll get to talk to the likes of me from any hour of the day, it seems. But then, so that's part of my everyday working week. But then typically last week, for example, I attended 2 exhibitions. So we did FEX North, and I also went to IHEAM, which is all about the NHS and the opportunity, because of the great stuff that the NHS do. It's an exhibition to give an opportunity for the people from the NHS to come and meet manufacturers, if you like, about the products that they sell into the hospitals, etc. So I think that was a great thing to do. So I went along to that. I went along to FEX North, met some regular faces and met some new ones, and a couple of lot of brands there. I then ended up on the BBC Radio doing an interview. And then I think Friday finished with me being on a business panel talking about international business, because I'm not only the marketing director, I also look after the company's international business. We ship to 42 different countries. So lots of hats, lots of happening, lots of things going on. There isn't a typical week, but you know what? I actually love the fact that my week is so varied. Yeah. And then obviously I work with people like Pete. So I probably imagine a lot of people think, A, they never see me, or when they do see me, they're either reading something about what we're doing as a business. Yeah. We're all about promoting Lawton and sustainability. But yeah, it's just great fun.
Yeah. It sounds very similar, actually. It sounds very similar here because, like you say, there's no such thing as a 9 to 5. My cogs are constantly going. Always. And like with today, we're doing what we're doing today. And then with this, excuse me, and then we've obviously going to Spain next week, and then Germany a couple of weeks. Yeah, we're going to take you, mate. Yeah, no worries.
2 tickets.
2 tickets, all in. Yeah, but yeah, it is. It's just something different. This is the first role I've ever had where I'm constantly thinking about, next. Oh, need to speak to Dan. Need to speak to so and so. Need to go and see them. It's crazy, but it's the way I like it. I didn't realise.
So your product and training manager slash.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. This is what I mean about all the different hats. So that's UK good. Product and training manager, that's the actual role. Yeah. But I'm in Germany monthly.
And you have your own Instagram channel as well, right?
I do. Well, it's still, it's a Rothenberger one. I actually started it during COVID because I found social media was another way of getting... It was
the only tool, wasn't it? Really,
exactly.
To interact with people.
I just called myself what I called myself, and I, really started it off, I suppose, and then it just went from there. And then it's amazing how you can use it as a tool to get your product out there, And also, in my opinion, to show people you're not just a robot. You're not just like, buy my gear. You're a person, if it's used in the correct way. It's been
I think a few
huge.
manufacturers have sales staff or product trainer like yourself having their own accounts. I've toyed with the idea, thinking about that. We certainly have the main one on Instagram. That was our main go-to, and it's worked really well. But we also have LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I find, like yourselves, we're business to business. So I use LinkedIn very much. We obviously have a Lawton Tube page and a Wartech page, and we can talk about Wartech as well if you like in a minute. But then all the staff, and it doesn't actually just stay at sales, customer service team. Obviously, all the directors have their own accounts, and it gets utilised. And I think if you find more on today, you'll see a lot more installers starting to move on LinkedIn. Yeah. I'm finding this because they can, like you say, they can get directly to people that they want to get direct to. It's not just looking at Rothenberger UK on Instagram and on LinkedIn, but you can actually see the face and the people behind the company, which I think's a great idea.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things. LinkedIn and Instagram seem to be our main ones. The external sales team, all of them have Instagram accounts, and they can tell people where they're going to be demonstrating.
So all your sales, so you've got what, 5 or 6 in the UK?
16, I think, in
16?
the sales team.
Wow,
I think we've got 16, including
But you've got so
myself.
many tools, haven't you?
Yeah,
So many
there's a
different
lot
products.
of stuff to get
I mean,
through.
I'm a bit, but we've got copper tube, copper fittings, and some brass fittings and some pipe clips. But I imagine your product range is quite.
I think, to be fair, since we've had a few retired, I'm thinking that obviously there's less than that now. Probably 12, 13, 14 or something. I can't think off the top
And
of
they've
my
got to
head.
sell to any installer, so not plumbing, gas. You've got electricians.
Yeah, it depends on the product. Obviously, we
Yeah.
have electrical screwdrivers and pliers and things like that. But generally, the customer base, they'll do. Some of the guys are doing 3 and 4 demos a week. And again, I found it when I was a regional sales manager to keep out there. The way to get back in after COVID was, need to
Get
go
out.
and start again effectively. Get in front of them. We all got gazebos, so we could do our days outside if necessary.
Yeah. Your
But
breakfast mornings.
absolutely. I always call them demo days because everybody thinks they're going to get free breakfast if you, where's the bacon and egg butties? I'm like, it's a
Did
demo
notice
day.
you still got the copper hearts though. Do you make those? Or,
Yeah, we do. It's just something. I
good.
can't remember when it first started really, but might have seen PB doing it on something a few years back, and just started doing them, and then people see them on the days. And
Do you
people
know what? Those copper hearts that he makes, people during COVID have actually, because they couldn't go out and do their own plumbing.
Yeah.
I think that there was a small point where you couldn't go into people's houses or whatever, and this guy called Copper Hearts UK actually set a business up on the back of what
Really?
Pete demonstrated about how to make a copper heart, and he was using that as a tool for people to grieve, I suppose, after people that they lost on COVID.
Oh, wow.
My father, who's a keen gardener, I got him to make me a copper heart with like a squiggly copper base, and he could put it out in the garden. I think I had the message engraved: "Copper gardening is my therapy."
Yeah.
It was just nice touch,
It's-
and it obviously looks good.
Yeah.
And it's 100% recyclable. So
Exactly.
so at the end of its life, it can be made into another tube. So
Which is
so he did well at that.
I mean, one of my customers, they actually donated on about the charity type stuff. They donated lots of Lawton Tube to make copper hearts, and I actually sold them for charity.
Oh wow! Well, you guys made the hearts.
Yeah, I made the hearts.
Oh, wow.
And then I sold about 40 of them to like a little village charity bash.
Oh wow!
It's amazing.
I didn't know
They really catch the eye.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Oh, we did do it one year installer show, and my gosh, we got through 1,000. Everybody was coming up for a copper heart.
Yeah.
We didn't do that last year. We did key rings, and the pipe bending challenge is obviously still Pete's baby. And we launched press fittings.
Yeah.
That's what we did last year. What did you think of our press fit wall? Did you get a chance to see? Because obviously you guys have a stand as well.
Yeah, we're always quite obviously busy on the stand,
Yeah, you
our
always do,
stand. But I never, for some reason, I never get a chance to really go round and have a look because they had me up on the demonstration stage and all this sort of thing as well. But I didn't actually see.
Oh, so you missed out on the big Union Jack that we had.
No, yeah.
So what we did, we had we always like to interact.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether we're doing an exhibition or we're doing something social media based or a tour or whatever it is. We like to interact. So get people using the product.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
So installer show last year, we made Tower Bridge and a Union Jack. So installers came up on our stand. We gave them one of your press guns and a few others. And obviously with our press fittings, and they got press fitting each and a tube, and it was run by Marcus, MB Plumber.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, you could see what they're made on all. It's now all been polished up, and it's now on pride of place.
Really?
In our reception at our head office.
Right. Okay.
So you missed out. You should have come and seen it.
Yeah. Were they on the socials as well? Because I'm.
Yeah. I think on the bit. After the show and during the show, we would have put them out. But next time you come up to.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We're not a million miles away from each other.
Exactly.
So I'm sure you'll be coming over. At some point.
Yeah. Why not?
I don't know what we're going to be doing at Story Show. I don't know if that's one of your questions. But
Well, looking at the questions here, I was just about to ask you, how has social media helped your business? But we've talked about it quite a lot. But is there any? It's huge, isn't it?
If someone said to me, so we just had Quality Plumber Week this week. I'll probably just age the podcast, but you can cut that. But just over 3 years ago, you asked me what we didn't have a social media presence as such. We had a website, and PB wasn't our ambassador. But I wasn't also head of marketing, so that role, I moved into that role from business development. I moved into marketing, and that's pretty much where our partnership with PB came about, and he helped build an audience for us, if you like, and we've stuck with him for the whole of that 3 year period, and we probably will beyond. He's a really good advocate. For me, it's not so much about the followers and the numbers.
Yeah.
For me, it's about what PB represents. He's very well respected in the industry. Very hardworking, very knowledgeable about his stuff.
Professional.
Yeah, exactly. So he's got that dynamic that, as a manufacturer, may not have in the business. I know you were a plumber before you joined the business, but in Lawton Tubes, we don't have that dynamic of people that live and breathe our product every day.
Yeah.
In terms of what they're doing out in the real world. So it's a great avenue to have. So P isn't just about being the face of the business; he's also helping us within our own company. And you see him with other companies that he represents, where he's helping to design bags or these sort of things. So he's a great advocate for helping us improve, if you like, on the marketing side as much as anything else. But it's great to have him on the books. And I didn't realise, and it wasn't until we really started getting into Instagram. I didn't realise quite how much of a social interaction. So traditionally, without social media, I would imagine an apprentice would ask the person he was working for how to do such and such, and that person, depending on his or her experience, may had a small pool of people that they would go and talk to.
Yeah,
probably just pick the phone up or chat down the pub or whatever. With social media now, and this is something I didn't really understand until about we got on it, was that you can post something on Instagram, for example, and you're having an issue, and within minutes, somebody around the UK and even around the world will be able to solve that problem or be able to help you with the issue that you've got. And I think that's a super tool to have.
Yeah.
Suddenly, a self-employed person is now within this massive network of help, and it isn't just about help with I don't know how to fix the boiler or whatever. You've also got people helping each other on the financial side about running an individual company. Yeah. You've got mental health. You can chat to each other about I've had a really down or really bad on this week, and someone can help pick you up. So I think there's loads of great things. It's not just about here's my product, there it is.
Absolutely.
Buy it in the merchants.
Yeah.
This whole aspect of social interaction, and I really do embrace it, to be honest.
It is something that we've definitely embraced, especially since these guys here, the marketing team. it's just so important. You touched on the mental health thing and things like that. But it is good seeing the support what's out there for each other. Certain platforms aren't as good as I would say. Sometimes I think there are the old, right, I need to tell them that. I hate your product. And then it's out there. Whereas Instagram, I find a really good tool, and also I enjoy looking at people's posts. I enjoy, it's a sad world really, but what we're doing is scrolling down to see what everybody who you know or...
And it's been the right community. I've made some real lifelong friends from doing social media, which I didn't think would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just installers, other like-minded individuals in companies, in manufacturers. I'm making some really good friends there.
Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying it. I absolutely love what I do. So, and I hope that comes through on...
It always does. It always does.
Yeah, you've got to be passionate about what you do. I think you can't be a marketeer, especially if you're not passionate about what you do. And I think same with the installers. A plumber's got to love what they do.
Yeah.
Because they've got to do it day in, day out. And I know one of the things that Pete and I do at colleges, when we go and do our talks at colleges, is talk to the youngsters about, if you don't like something particularly that you don't like doing and you've learned, well, don't do it. If you're really good at fitting bathrooms, go and fit bathrooms. Yeah. If you want to be a gas engineer and learn how to problem solve boilers, well, do that. Yeah. And I think that's what Pete tries to get across on our college talks. You don't have to be a jack of all trades. You can specialise in certain things. So, I'm sure anybody that's on the tools will find something that they're really good at and really enjoy doing. Mm-hmm. So, they should champion it.
Is that, we do a lot of college things and stuff, and I really enjoy them. It's a good audience, especially you can always see when you're watching the guys, and some are more bothered than others and things like that, but you can always tell straight away if somebody is going to make it in this industry, because they're coming over at 16, 17 years old, asking lots of questions. And I think they're a credit to their parents, because they're the ones, whereas the other ones are worried about not looking cool in front of the mates and things like that. So I think the college thing, if I had more time, I would be doing so many. I think it's such
I think correct me if I'm wrong, but on the college now, they're having to interact more with manufacturers, either visit the factory or have them come in and do a talk or a demo.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing a lot more colleges, certainly this year, since September, we've been back, asking if either they can come to us or we can go to the college. So what we've done, we've set one up on our website that the colleges can actually get hold of, because it's quite difficult to find the right person within the college. So what we did, we added a page on our website, and they can specifically ask between one or two or three things that we do. So we do a classroom style talk where we talk about sustainability and about where copper comes from, 100% recycled and 100% recyclable. And then we also do a practical session. So me and Pete will go along, we'll make the copper hearts, we'll do the pipe bending, we'll also talk a little bit about social media, he'll talk about being a third generation plumber, I'll talk about copper. And it's a 2 to 3 hour talk. So I'd imagine when you go and talk, you have to limit the number of products that you want to talk about.
Yeah, generally when we heavily support colleges, like financially, as regards with product and things like that. So if a college needs something, big picture, the newbies are going to obviously generally use what you've used for years. I think Pete was saying earlier he's used the Superfire for 20 odd years or something, so that's all he's ever used, so that's what he's used to, and that's what tends to happen. So we find, and the sales team as well are really good at getting out there, interacting with them, trying to do it through merchants. We don't like to cut anybody out. Everybody work together to support the future without
we've done some trade days at merchants.
Yeah,
it's difficult though, because everybody that comes into a trade counter want to be in and out.
Exactly, yeah.
They're all very busy people, and the last thing they probably want to do, unless you pre-advertise it, which quite a lot of merchants do, they just want to get in and out, get the good stuff. And I'm finding more with merchants that are moving towards maybe having the goods delivered.
Yeah.
I didn't realise it was a thing until a year or so ago, where merchants will deliver into installers' houses. The garage, the lockup, whatever it is.
Right.
And they'll deliver the boiler, some plumbers don't even actually probably go to trade counters.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether there's an evolutionary change happening in terms of going to your merchants to pick up your stuff, because you can order online, you can have click and collect, all this sort of stuff that you can do. But I didn't know it was a thing that you could have the merchants to drop stuff
directly
off
to your house.
Yeah. I don't know how that worked. But I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
So, Rob, I see nothing but positivity on your social media accounts, whether it be Lawton or yourself.
So kind of you. Yeah.
How important to you, personally and as a business, is positivity in your workplace?
Absolutely hate it.
Yeah, I can
I'm
see that.
very negative.
Yeah.
You got to be positive. I think certainly from a marketing's perspective, a marketer needs to be passionate.
Yeah.
If you're going to be talking about product, or you're going to be filming, or you're going to be doing some interaction where you're like working a stand or whatever, you've got to have passion. And I think at Lawton Tubes, everybody, I'm from lorry driver to the warehouse. So we did a corporate video not so long ago, and we filmed it in such a way that all the people that appeared in the corporate video were members of staff. Right. So we had a guy from the warehouse, we had a lorry driver, we had some office staff, we had me, obviously. All the people filmed in it, and do you know what? They all exude passion, and they all, I'd like to say on their behalf, enjoy working for the company. Brilliant. And that's part of the ethos. So even at the interview stage, we'll be looking for that fit. Do we all fit? Can we all work together? Just as important as qualifications and all the rest of it. Absolutely. So that's your answer, really. Did I answer the question?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things what makes the world go round in business as well. If people are positive around the office, whenever I've done it again. Whenever I come into the office, they'll go, "Oh, great!" It's like basically,
I've got to say,
I've got the fun police or something.
When I walked in this morning, everybody was really engaging.
Yeah, that's good.
That's nice. Everyone was welcoming. It's good. Like it.
But you absolutely use positivity with people as well, which is great. And not just at like places like this, but at shows, you're always doing something.
Yeah, we all have our down days, but
I
try not to put that onto the public domain.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It's not very often, is it, Shane?
So you've seen, obviously, you've got press and solder fittings within Lawton.
End feed,
Yeah. So
compression,
for you,
soldering, we do everything to do now with copper and brass. I think we're pretty much doing it as a fitting.
So, like us, we've got a foot in both camps.
Yep.
What do you enjoy playing with, demonstrating?
Oh, gosh,
if you had to pick one.
Well, you probably saw today. I don't do much demonstration. That's normally
Right.
Pete, but he likes to he likes to get me out of my comfort zone. So. When we first started working together 3 years ago, and when I first started doing marketing, we really championed traditional plumbing.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much in a nutshell what Lawton Tubes is all about. We want to get and encourage people to continue using traditional products, because obviously copper's recyclable. Some of the substitute alternative products are just going to end up in landfill. So let's get back to using more traditional materials. And so I quite like the pipe bending challenge. I didn't think, getting a plumber to come along in front of Joe Public and other plumbers and do pipe bending, which they do all day long in their job, a thing. And wow, it's such a draw. We do it at the colleges, we do it at the Installer Show, we do it at FEX and all these Tool Fair and all these other trade events that we've done over the last couple of years. And it's so much good fun. Yeah. So I like that. And obviously, something new, something different. We're getting into more modern techniques of plumbing and heating. So obviously, the press fittings is part of that modernness. And it's going to keep copper pipe alive. Yeah. Not that it's dying, but it's bringing in the next generation of... It's all about convenience. It's all about speed. You've got hot works. A lot more people are not liking hot works on site. Yeah. So... we were already doing it on air conditioning, so we've now joined the masses doing press fittings. But we were a bit, I wouldn't say we were behind launching press fittings. I think we just wanted to get it right, and it's all coming out of the one factory. Yeah. So I'm not sure whether other brands are sort of cherry picking, if you like.
Right.
For us, we stuck with the one factory, and that's all they manufacture is press fittings, but it's for the whole range. So we've only recently launched press fittings, and in a couple of months the gas will join the family.
Yeah.
And we're doing, as you can see there, we're going up to 108 mil. So we're tackling domestic at the minute, but we will be offering commercial offering, and the gas will be coming soon. So when Lawton Tubes do something, we do it properly.
Yeah.
So I mean, and it's not rocket science, is it? Really? No. If you're gonna, it doesn't matter whether you're selling anything in the world. You need to carry the portfolio product. Don't just sort of stick to popular.
Yeah.
Got to do the range, and you've got to have the stock. So I think one of our great strengths in the business is having the product knowledge, getting the right product to the right quality to be able to put our name on it, but then also carry it in stock and do the whole range. So you saw earlier the 219T. That's a massive T.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not going to be using it every day of the week.
No.
I wish you were.
Yeah.
And we keep 40 in stock, 40 219Ts, and then you've got all the 219 pipe to go with it.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was used in, say, the Olympic Village or any big projects. Hospitals use that a lot because you need a lot of oxygen to get to service the hospital ward. So copper pipe's really good at carrying oxygen from plant room to patient's bed because it kills germs, fungi, COVID on touch because it's naturally antimicrobial. You know, other substitute products you've got to be in somehow get that into the product, and more often than not, it's only going to be on the surface, and it won't stand the test of time. Whereas copper it's just such a brilliant product. So, but we'll keep those in stock because you never know when you're going to need it. And now that we're into 42 different other countries, so. Our overseas market is very project-led.
Yeah.
We don't know what project's going to come off when, and there's a lot of government work that we do in other countries. So, you know, you're waiting for the approvals, you're waiting for the sign-off, the funding, and all the rest of it. So you've got to have it in stock, and when somebody presses that button and wants the product, you've got to be able to deliver it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of our key strengths, certainly in the UK. We operate 12 or 13 lorries. And our go-to is to say that we'll deliver within 2 to 3 days of customer ordering, and I think that's really critical.
Yeah, I think we call it the one-stop shop aspect, and having that because we obviously products we do a lot of ranges in a hell of a lot of merchants.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And yes, some of the things fantastic, some things people won't like as much, but it's just the fact that from one manufacturer you can get everything.
Yeah,
which I think that's where we've done really well. But that's one of the things we always coin in Germany when I'm doing the videos over there. It's everything's one-stop shop, whether it be a pipe slice or a pipe cutter to huge welding machines and things like that. We cover everything.
You guys have got quite a similar ethos to us, I think.
Absolutely.
I didn't realise until, maybe it's just my naivety, but I didn't realise you're still family-owned. So there's quite a lot of synergy between the two businesses in that respect.
I think it's a really nice thing because obviously I have the pleasure to go to Germany quite a lot. And
Spain
in previous... The what, sorry?
Spain next week.
Spain next week.
Base the podcast again.
But I would say... in previous companies I've worked for, huge companies, huge names, I may have mentioned one earlier, but there would be no chance of me meeting Mr. or Mrs. whoever that may be.
So the guys that own the company are pretty hands-on and down
absolutely.
to it. Yeah, it's great.
So when we go, like next week, we'll be working directly with Sabine Rothenberger, a lovely lady, and then the CEO is a guy called Christian Heiner. And we will be working. I'm actually going to be working on a stand, so they're pretty much as high as you can get.
Invite them to install a show in next year.
Yeah.
Do they come? I don't know.
They haven't been since I've been here.
Oh, okay.
But they may have done in the past. But they, the ISH show in Frankfurt.
Oh yes.
Big over there, yeah. But yeah, I'll definitely mention that about getting somebody from over there to come over. It'd be good. And to get guys over there as well. Okay, so if you could invent a new tool
for construction,
What?
Because I can think of some of the other things.
What do you? what? Yeah. Have you got an idea of a tool?
Wow. What like? So obviously it's going to be made out of copper because such a wonderful product.
Yeah.
Which would probably limit its use in terms of because it's not a harder metal than say stainless or steel. What tool would I invent? See, now you just sprung these questions on me now, and I've not really thought about that. What would I invent?
Something to help your business.
Do you know what? Well, I, it's not necessarily a tool, but I'd like to invent a cloning machine and clone me.
Right.
Yeah, because there's just not enough hours in a day. Whether the world could cope with 2 of me or not, I don't know. But I think that would be maybe clone myself, and then be able to sort of suck it back in again after I've cloned myself for a bit. But that would be quite. So I could have 2 of me. So one doing social media, one could be doing exhibitions, and then we could run the 2 together. But do you know what? I've got the likes of Shannon, so I don't necessarily need to clone myself. But I think a cloning machine would be quite cool, and I could clone Pete as well and like replicate him a load of times. Yeah, cloning definitely. I could just have an army of copper men. That'd be pretty cool.
I think copper men. I like that. I think something what could work for yourselves as well. And I don't know. I've actually mentioned this, and somebody did mention it to me.
You want me to bring out my own range of tools?
Yes, please. Yeah. Would you mind? No. A square pipe slice or a tube cutter.
Oh wow! What, to cut square tubes?
No.
Oh, because I do make square tubes.
Yeah, but no, the normal tube.
Oh, okay.
But obviously, back in the day when I was on the tools, you would have pipe slices rolling down under floorboards. And I think a square one.
What about a magnetic one, so you could like hook it out under the floorboards?
Yeah.
You had like a magnetic rod.
Yeah. If you're listening to this, please let me know if you like the idea of a square pipe slice. Anyway.
How would you? Right, so it's still cut round tube, but it would be square in shape.
Yeah. So in other words, it's
how
not
do you-
going to roll around. Yeah, but you're still going to be able to get a grip because you've got 4 corners effectively, haven't you? Just thought that. But yeah, I just thought that would be quite a nice idea.
Do you think? This is a question back to you now. Just popped in my head. Do you think you're like the likes of press guns? Mm-hmm. Do you see them that they'll get smaller and smaller on the next version and stuff?
I envisage personally
Batteries getting smaller.
the size of a hand. You're just going to be that. I can see that because they're just getting smaller and smaller now.
Because things like what you guys sort of come up with and invent, if you like, and help with our product is only going to strengthen keeping our industry alive. I think the way that the market's moving with the tools and going heat free, it's only going to add to people wanting to keep using copper and other metals, you know, because there are certain 4 or 5 key products in construction that we need to keep going because they are sustainable and they're recyclable. You know, so the more you guys can bring better products out to market, the better. And the art of plumbing, if you like, or gas engineering, is in the traditional materials. You know, every time I look at social media, and I'm obviously very biased about all this, but you never see a decent pipe job that's not done in traditional material. And the guys that are fitting it and designing and installing it take such pride. And I think it's an essential thing that manufacturers like us do is to acknowledge that and to publicly like, comment, and I try and do as many as I can. And because these guys really do enjoy working with our products. So long may that continue, basically.
I think that and things like what we've done here today, collaborating between manufacturers, you've got a product what we can use our products on, and things like that. I think it's important that we share the knowledge, if you like, of these things, because I think sometimes people like to hide things and that's just our thing. But I think having you guys here today.
Well, your product presses copper.
Absolutely.
So then it makes no.
Yeah.
It's
sold as copper.
Exactly.
It depends what.
I'm really pleased you like our press fittings, by the way.
They are really good, really good. I just straight away, I've got a couple of things what I always think what I like, and having that cover
Yeah.
on there, I just think that is really, really good. And
It's a visual thing, isn't it?
it's a visual thing, but not just that. It's, as I say, when you press it, there's no sharp bits, and hopefully that is always going to be the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Perforated
really
O-ring,
good.
but I think maybe others do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not
So,
many.
Yeah, they all do. They obviously certain different brands have different shapes and things like that
Yeah.
to watch out for leaks or drips.
We never mentioned earlier that it's M profile, but never mind.
We haven't actually mentioned it's M
No.
profile, have we? Yeah. So these fittings are M profile fittings.
Can we just work that into?
I can't believe. Yeah. So we've been here for about 6 hours, and that's the first time we've mentioned M profile.
Shocking.
Yeah. Obviously, on the press tool, it's got a nice big M on there as well.
Yeah.
So, what's next?
Ooh, what next for me or
you,
for the company?
Lawton?
Wow. So we're only going to go strength by strength on our marketing.
Yeah.
From a marketing perspective, export we want to grow. In the UK, we're looking to get more involved on products, accessories. There are some exciting developments. I probably can't talk about them.
Of course, yeah.
But I can tell you that we bought a company a year or so ago called Wartech.
I was going to ask you about that. I heard you say it earlier.
So obviously we're a really strong company in terms of copper tube.
Right.
And now the accessory side of it, but we some of our customers we've been supplying for forever because obviously 100-year-old plus business, and we bought this company. We were supplying them for about 40 years, and they use our tube to go into coiling tubes, and they supply and manufacture copper and stainless steel fittings.
Right.
Mainly for the water technology industry, so that would be like water cylinders. I didn't realise until when we were looking at buying them, even though I've known them for about 20 years, that they were taking our copper tube and turning them into cylinder fittings, and they've made over 13 million copper fittings that would have gone into copper cylinders, the traditional cylinders that you would have had in your airing cupboards and stuff. So that would be about 7 million cylinders. I don't know how many copper cylinders are in the UK or have ever been made, and if anybody knows off this podcast, want to let Anthony know, I'd really appreciate that. So we're going to get more into that, which then introduces into stainless steel, I suppose.
Yeah.
So those fittings are obviously where heat pump technology we hope is going to be a big thing. So that's the next thing after combi boilers. But obviously, time will tell whether that's the case. So we're preparing ourselves, if you like, for the change in technology in terms of heating your water in your house. So that's really our big thing that we're doing at the moment. And then it's just really continuing to keep up with the growth of what we're doing within the business. So operationally, we'll go from strength to strength.
Yeah.
There, I mean, we moved into our HQ in 2016. My dad opened that up as the chairman back then, and that was a 60,000 square foot warehouse, and we filled it.
Yeah.
So we need to look at operationally how we can improve, and more pressure on you about EDI, which is electronic data change. So B2B business, trying to do more electronically. Digitally signing for delivery notes, moving on so the customer experience, which I'm sure you guys are probably also doing, looking at that. So when an order's placed, bang, they get an instant response, a bit like Amazon, I suppose.
Yeah.
Where you get the instant response saying thanks for your order, and then hopefully with some sort of delivery time period. So the technology will be driving through the business over the next year or so. So that's a big thing. I think that's about all I can tell you at the moment.
No, fair enough.
I think that's a
Yeah,
bit.
we've all got our.
And obviously, I'm going to clone Shannon with my cloning machine.
Yeah.
So I can have more Shannons in our marketing manager, by the way, who's off cam. But I thought I'd just mention her about 8 times. So I hope to go from strength to strength as the industry continues. I really do think construction in the UK has got a great, exciting time ahead of itself, and I think Rothenberger and Lawton's are going to be very much there in the years to come. So
just keeping evolving with what's going on. New products for new things when it comes out.
Yeah.
Being always ready and
new products, just improve what you're already doing.
yeah.
Get it slicker, smarter, and just so the customer experience is better. So no.
So one thing I'm going to ask you to finish up is, I've been saying proper in copper and stuff like that.
Yeah, have I got to say something else?
Can you? Well, I'll say proper in copper.
Oh, okay. No mess with press.
Hashtag from our point of view.
Oh, you have hashtag. What's it called?
Well, Red Tools rule.
Ooh.
And the other one, and this obviously works for your press fittings as well. No mess, no stress, no heat, no probs.
That's a hashtag.
That's going to be a hashtag.
Wow. That's a mouthful. What was
Yeah.
it?
No mess.
No mess. Hashtag no mess.
No stress.
No stress.
No heat.
No heat.
No probs.
No probs. Lawton press fittings.
You've nicked it. Proper in copper.
Hashtag
Oh, yeah.
red is what?
Red Tools rule.
Red Tools rules.